Hello. Hello. Good morning, bright eyes. Well, it's not really morning. Actually, it's close to 6 p.m. But that doesn't matter since you're blindfolded. Morning, noon, evening. It's all the same thing to you right now, isn't it? Since everything is dark to you, you are completely dependent upon me to explain anything and everything that's going on around you. And since I've got you tied and gagged, and you're lying here helplessly on my bed, you're also completely dependent upon me for everything. Now don't you fret, sweetie. Don't let any ideas settle into that beautiful imagination of yours that your life is in danger or anything like that. Having you tied up and helpless doesn't mean I want to hurt you. No. I didn't bring you here to hurt you at all. I brought you here to claim you, to adore you, to love you. That's right. That's what I said. I'm going to love you for the rest of your life. I've made you my pet, my darling. My one true love that I can never be without ever again. That means I'm going to feed you and clothe you and bathe you. I'm going to take care of all your needs. But not just that. No, my pet. Not just that. Since I'm making you mine and I'm going to be responsible for you, I'm going to take care of everything. Not just your needs, but your wants. Your deepest desires are now my responsibility. And my pleasure. I know that you don't need just basic necessities. You need play. You need fun. You need exercise. And I know just how to provide it. I've got movies and games and other plans for you. So many plans. I think you've got a pretty good idea of the kinds of things I'm talking about. If it weren't for the gag in your mouth right now, I'd plant a kiss on those lovely lips of yours to give you a small taste of what I mean, pet. But, as my pet, you don't just need affection. You also need discipline. You need to be made aware when you've done something wrong so you can correct your behaviour. I'm going to love you and everything I've got, but you also need to love me too. And when you're bad, you need to know that you've hurt me. And my pet, you have been very bad. So, unfortunately, the gag can't come off at the moment. So you just have to be content with me running my fingers through your hair and across your ears. You see, my pet, I said I don't want to hurt you, and I mean it. But you still need to be punished. Is that a trace of fear I detect? Good. That means you're understanding. That means you're learning. That's very good. The quicker you learn, the better off your life with me will be. What's that, dear? Are you trying to speak through the gag? I will admit that I wish I had another way to punish you. Using the gag does limit how well you can communicate, and I do get so easily frustrated when I can't understand you. So let that be part of your lesson, my dear, sweet love. Punishing you hurts me so deeply. You don't want to be bad anymore, do you? You don't want to make me suffer by limiting my access to you now, do you? Oh, how I wish I could taste your lips right now. But even more than that, I do so long to hear your voice again. Your voice is the most soothing, the most comforting thing that I've ever heard. Your melodious voice is the primary reason why you're here. Don't get me wrong, you're very easy on the eyes, especially tied down as you are now. But your voice, shivers are flitting up and down my spine each time I imagine hearing it again. Once I do remove your gag, simply speaking to me once again will make me putty in your hands. Or at least it would if your hands weren't tied. So this is your punishment for now. You can't speak. You can't say anything. You can't ask me questions. You can't provide answers. You can't enchant me with your rapturous tones that will inevitably cause me to gush over you. That's why it makes for such good punishment. When you can't speak to me, I can refrain from that kiss on your gag is the closest you're going to get to my tender love and affection, until I know that you've learnt your lesson and will be my good, good boy. Oh, even with the gag and the blindfold, it's clear that you're bewildered. Are you truly as to what you did and how you were a naughty, naughty boy? Even your confusion is endearingly sweet. You are truly the cutest, sweetest boy I've ever come across. Well, I must concede that punishment isn't effective if you don't understand what it is that you're being punished for. How else will you be able to correct your deviant ways? Because I love you so much and wish for you to be my good, good boy from now on, I will clarify. First of all, you do know who I am, correct? Do you not recognise my voice? Even with the blindfold on, it should have been simple for you to identify who it is that you're speaking to right now, right? Excellent. I hope you would recognise me. If you hadn't, that might have created a need to punish you further. Should I have discovered that you had innumerable pretty things vying for your affection? Well, I promised you that I wouldn't hurt you. But I made no such promises about anybody else. So let's not go down that road. I was in the cafeteria. Lunch had concluded. The other students were all heading back to class. But not me. My face was buried in my arms on the table. I was trying my best to appear as if I was simply tired and trying to sneak in some rest. I was trying to appear as if I'd fallen asleep, hoping that nobody else would disturb me. But the truth was that I was quietly sobbing into my arms. I'd just been rejected by the boy that I thought I loved more than anything. I had watched him secretly for several weeks. He was athletically gifted and very handsome. He was the envy of every other boy in the school, and the desires of every girl. One day, I decided I had enough of simply watching and dreaming. I knew that I would never have him if I was too afraid to say anything, and at worst, he would say he didn't think of me the same way. At least then I would know. I waited for an opportunity to get him alone. I caught him in the chemistry lab as he was cleaning up his area. The other students had all gone. I marched in quickly and then just as quickly blurted out what I had said before my nerves got the better of me and made me too afraid to speak. After I finished, there was a long silence. I let my hopes get the better of me and imagined that he was overwhelmed with my confusion and had in fact been secretly desiring the same thing. But then he broke out in laughter. He laughed and laughed as if my confession was the most absurdly ridiculous thing he'd ever heard. He treated me as a foolish clown, someone completely unworthy of a god such as he. My heart and mind were shattered. If he'd simply apologised and explained that he did see me that way, I could have handled it. I would have understood. But his laughter tore through me. I ran. I ran to the cafeteria on the other end of the building. Every other student was absorbed in their food or their conversations. I found an unoccupied table and covered myself before anyone noticed my tears. Lunch ended. My tears faded. But my heart was still fractured. Everyone else got up to leave. But I stayed. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't simply considering not returning to class. I was considering more drastic measures. And then you spoke. You had sat down at the table so quietly, so softly. I hadn't been aware of your presence till you spoke. Do you remember the first thing you said to me? So do I. It was simple yet elegant. The sound of your voice, the words you spoke, they will forever be etched in my memory as some of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. You simply said, "The time after you've run out of tears is the most painful, isn't it?" I lifted my head in surprise. You weren't looking at me. You were wearing sunglasses. But you were clearly looking down at the tray of food in front of you. It was obvious to me that you were too shy to look in my direction, and yet you spoke with such tenderness and compassion that I knew you spoke from the conviction of one who suffered in the same way. Your voice, your sweet voice, broke me out of my sorrow. Your voice wrapped me up in a warm embrace I never wanted to leave. And I still don't. You told me that you'd newly arrived in our small town. Your parents were registering you in classes while you ate. You could tell that I was very sad and wanted to help. I don't think I would have opened up as easily as to anyone else, but your voice was so comforting. I wanted to do everything I could to prolong you speaking. I told you that I wrote poetry, and you told me that you wrote stories, fantastic tales of adventure and wonder. That led us into each sharing tale after tale, creation after creation of magical journeys, amazing escapades and sinuous romances. I admitted why I'd been crying. I shared how he had made me feel. I told you that I'd even written him a love poem that I had wanted to read to him, but never got the chance before he chased me away with his laughter. You then asked me to read it to you, which I did. I see you in moments, like light through the trees, a warmth in my heart, a soft summer breeze. I wonder if you feel it, the way that I do, a quiet longing, a spark only for you. Each word that you speak, like a song in my mind, a melody rare, impossible to find. I watch and I wait, my secret to keep, dreaming of you, awake and asleep. If ever you'd look, even just for a while, you'd see in my eyes the hope and the smile, the whispers of love, deep and unknown, and says in a heartbeat, for you alone. When I finished, you wiped a tear away. It was clear that my poem touched you deeply. That alone took my breath away. But then, you hadn't even moved your head away from looking at your food. You hadn't even looked directly towards me. But then you told me that I was the most beautiful girl you'd ever had the privilege of meeting. You told me that the other boy was a fool for treating me so callously, and you told me that if I ever decided to write you a poem, such as the one you just heard, that you'd be mine forever. I didn't need to hear any more. I jumped up from the table and rushed away. I needed to write a new poem. I needed to write for you. I immediately realised that I forgot my notebook and ran back to get it, but I couldn't even look at you when I came back. I just grabbed my notebook and ran. I hurried to find a quiet place in the library where nobody else was studying, and I poured out my heart to you on that page. The words flowed like the tears from my eyes, only now they were tears of joy. I returned swiftly to read my poem and make you mine. And then I saw it. I saw you. I saw her. Yes. You've realised now why you deserve to be punished, why you need corrected. You were walking away arm in arm with a beautiful young lady. At that moment, I couldn't determine which hurt worse, the mocking laughter of the other boy, or realising that you were just another player leading me on with your sweet talk. You probably have a dozen young ladies all enchanted by your sweet tongue, don't you? But even knowing that I wasn't the only one you had been wooing, I won't lie and say I didn't fall for you. I fell deeply. You brought up emotions in me that I never even knew existed. And you did tell me, my love, you did tell me, that if I ever wrote you a poem such as the first one I read to you, then you would be mine forever. Well, I wrote the poem, which I will read to you shortly, and I will hold you to your word. You will be mine. You will always be mine. And because you'll always be mine, never to be parted from me again, and because I never want you to flinch from me or worry about what harm I may cause, I will never cause you pain. But, my love, you hurt me deeply when I saw you with the other girl. You caused me such great pain that I admit to you right now that I want to hurt you back. I want to lash out and strike you. I do. I want to make you feel the agony that I suffered so that you understand how you made me feel. And that is why you're gagged. You can't express yourself. Your thoughts are trapped within you with no outlet to be heard. Your speaking privileges will be returned when I know that you're going to be a good boy, when I know that you're going to stand by your word and be completely mine. So now, as part of your punishment, I'm going to remove your blindfold so that you can see how I've dressed for you, or rather, undressed. You're going to watch me as I pour my heart out to you. You're going to listen to me read you my poem and officially make you mine. You're going to burn with a desire for me, and then you're not going to get me. Not a long, long time. Now, I'm going to gently remove your blindfold. There. You can open your eyes. So, what do you think? Do you like what you see? Go on, sweetie. It's okay to react. I said you can't speak and you won't be allowed to touch for a while, but you're allowed to look. After all, I am going to be yours forever. It's not improper. Sweetie, you can look at me. Don't just stare blankly into space. Turn your head and look at me. No, not that way. Sweetie, I'm over here. Stop avoiding me. Are you trying to hurt me? I told you that I won't hurt you, but you will end up extending your punishment if you keep looking everywhere, but... Wait, you're not avoiding me, are you? You're not trying to be contradictory or disobedient. You can't see me, can you? Oh my God, sweetie. Your unfocused gaze. Your eyes. You can't see. That's it, isn't it? Here, let me remove the gag so you can tell me. There, it's off. Sweetie, tell me. Please tell me, is it true? Are you blind? Oh, God, sweetie. My dear, sweet, lovely boy. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. That's why you never looked directly at me. I thought you were just too shy to look at me. I thought you simply felt yourself unworthy of me when it was that I felt unworthy of you. Your sister? Your older sister? That was the girl you were smiling and laughing with arm in arm. She was walking you out. She wasn't a sweetheart of yours. She was just your sister taking you home. Oh my God, I feel terrible. You meant what you said. You weren't leading me on. You weren't playing with my heart. You never lied to me when you called me the most beautiful girl you'd ever met. I'm only now just realizing that you didn't say I was the most beautiful girl you'd ever seen. Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. When you said what you said, you meant it. When you made me feel the way you did, you were... Yes, my love. I liked it very much too. Oh, wait, let me put on a shirt. I don't want to tease you anymore with the sight of... Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm sorry. This is all catching me by surprise. Yeah, I suppose you got me beat in that arena. Well, now I feel even more foolish spending the money on this sexy lingerie. It's kind of pointless, isn't it? Yes, I'll be more than happy to let you feel it. Let me untie you so you can... What? Really? You do? I suppose that's right. Until I read you what I wrote, you're not actually mine yet. Okay, if that's what you want, I'll leave you tied so I can read what I wrote and you can focus on the words and the sound of my voice. You sit there in silence, eyes cast away, and somehow your quiet speaks more than words say. A gentle mystery, a soft untold tale, a light in the stillness, a breeze without gale. I feel it, I swear, your heart beats like mine, unseen but familiar, a delicate sign. There's strength in your quiet, a grace in your gaze, a warmth that I'm drawn to, like sun through a haze. I wonder if you know, or if you've even seen, the way that my heart falls so easily free. In whispers, in glances, I'm here without fear, waiting for you, though you won't look near. To be seen, truly seen, is all that I've sought, and I think in your silence you've given me a lot. So I offer this truth, hidden but true. With all that I am, I'll wait here for you. I've read you my poem for you. You're now mine. May I untie you now? Of course I will. Before I untie you, I'll lay on you here and hold you. I'll stroke your hair. I'll wipe the happy tears from your eyes and I'll remove the ties when you're ready. You're mine now. The ties don't matter anymore. I'm bound to you and you to me. I'll never leave you, my love. I promise.